Where's the open? Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mapping the Magic with Chris and John, sponsored by On the Road Travel. You can catch us live every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on Facebook at On the Road Travel LLC and Streaming the Magic, as well as on YouTube at On the Road Travel LLC. Chris and I are both part of the On the Road Travel team and would love to help you in planning your next Disney vacation. Our services are 100% free when you book a vacation through us. We will be there with you every step of the way in the planning process, looking for any deals that might pop up along the way, keeping you up to speed on every important date. And if you need us to book those dining reservations and fast passes, if and when maybe they ever come back, of course, we've got your back. Contact myself at john@travelwithontheroad.com or Chris at csmith@travelwithontheroad.com to get started today. Chris, it's another great Monday. I got a fresh haircut. I'm feeling much better. Things are going well. It's good to be back here with you. You got back safe and sound from your trip from last week on remote. How's it going, pal? How's the rest of the trip? Tell the people how some of Magic Kingdom was and also the rest of Islands of Adventure.
Right. So I went to, I had a few days at Universal Studios doing some tours of resorts and checking out the parks. And it was fantastic. Universal is really, it's a neat place, and it's definitely somewhere you want to, if you haven't been, you should definitely carve out some time in your vacation, maybe extend it or just make it a vacation alone to check out. It's got a lot of great features and good. There's great food at there too, so that's an added bonus. But I was able to check out all the Harry, what the mystique of the Harry Potter area was. And that was really cool. Got to ride some roller coasters and actually got to ride the Velocicoaster, which was pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever felt that unique of an experience. And it's a very, very smooth ride. So you're not really jarring around or anything of that nature. So that was good. And then
lots of twists and turns.
Oh yeah, there's so many twists and turns. And then I call it. I'm not spoiling it for anybody, but there's basically like two parts of the ride, and you'll know the second part is much more intense, and it's a lot of fun. So
nice.
So I did that, and then I had my son's baseball games. His playoff games got pushed back a little, so I headed over to Magic Kingdom and Disney World for a little while and stayed a night there. And had a great time and was able to hit all the rides at Magic Kingdom, and that was a lot of fun. Got to get a Dole Whip and stop by Liberty Tree Tavern, which is always one of my favorite stops. So,
all right, nice. So let me guess. So you get there, Magic Kingdom, and you rope drop. You probably went Seven Dwarfs Mine Train first, Peter Pan's Flight second, and then maybe over to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I do it. It's when it's just me and one of the kids, that's what I'll typically do. Just because those are, you knock those out, that's easy. You've hit that end, and then you can hit over at Buzz Lightyear's, at any time. And Carousel Progress is kind of my rest area, so I enjoy it a lot. But
there you go. Nice, yeah, great, man. Sounds like a nice little trip for a nice little solo. Nothing wrong with that. Nice little solo. So, welcome back, man. All right, well, let's get into the major news, which is probably going to take up majority of the show, I would think today, is Disney World has updated its mask policy. Now all guests are able to go maskless outdoors in Disney on property. Masks are still required at attractions and indoor locations. We've also seen Disney has reduced social distancing measures, eliminated temperature checks, and their hand washing stations, which I like the hand washing stations. It's always nice to have the hand washing stations. I'd like to hold on to that. But this is some big news that we had been waiting for. once the CDC kind of updated their guidelines. It's always interesting to see. We always talk about how Disney is always, a little bit slower than maybe some other theme parks, and just they take their time. But Disney was very quick to react here. Within 24 to 48 hours, they had this announcement out, and their mask policy was updated. So, Chris, we are once again now, I think we can say we're where are we right now? On the 20-yard line, getting ready to score a touchdown here to get back to normal times when it comes to Disney, right? We got to be closing in here on a touchdown, right?
Yeah, I think once you get fireworks, fast passes, and character experiences, I think that's my touchdown. And I mean, I think I brought this up a few weeks ago about, hey, we need to look into the mask policy, because I knew there were other parks that were just doing the mask whenever you're waiting in a line queue and all that. And I was like, Disney's, I think it's time for that, because of what the CDC had been kind of hinting towards and finally came up with it, and what other experts have been saying. So I'm glad to see it. I know that, so I left the day before this occurred, so I didn't get to experience it maskless. I think that's
maskless. Yep, that's right.
But I know that once that policy shifted, everybody was without mask, and I sent emails and everything to all my guests that were actually there, and they were pretty excited. I'll tell you, to put it as an understatement. I mean, it's mask. They're not I understood the reasoning for it, what we believe, but it's when you're not around anybody, it's kind of a unique situation. But we're not going to get into that, because then you go down a different avenue.
I'm with you on that. But I mean, look, people are getting vaccinated now. Things are starting to become more safer. And, I'm fine with this, and you're outside, and, if you feel like you still want to wear a mask, you can. There's nothing wrong with that, if that's how you feel. But this is a big step. We talked about this. We were making little steps and little progress along the way. This is a huge, huge step. That's why I said the 20-yard line, maybe more at the 35, because you're right. There's some experiences that we don't have yet when it comes to our in-park experience that, of course, we miss and that we want. But from a COVID perspective, we're almost at the touchdown. We're almost at the goal line here.
I think you're in field goal range.
Field goal range. Okay, we were in field goal range. But yeah, this is great to see. Would have been, if this had happened last month while I was down there, I would have 100% gone without the mask. And just, you throw it on, and you just hope that still people are respectful and nobody's being a jerk out there. And when you're in the line and you're in the queue, you're just putting the mask on, and it's as simple as that. That way, we're not giving the CMs a hard time, and everybody's enjoying themselves. Everybody's outside. Everybody can drink and eat without having to worry about pulling up and down the mask anymore. So hopefully this satisfies, a lot of people. People are happy, less complaining, less people starting arguments with CMs on the property. And we get hopefully some more shows opening up soon now. We get those fireworks back. We start bringing more cast members back. We start increasing the capacity. I did see a couple other theme parks starting at the end of May are going to eliminate the reservation system that they have. Places like Hershey Park and places like that. I did see that. I don't know if Disney's going to go that route. I don't know how much of a moneymaker this reservation system really is, or the direction they're going to go as far as fast passes and annual passes. So I still think the reservation system is here to stay. At least until we get an announcement to see what's going on with those other aspects of it. But this is good news. It's good news. And actually, I do actually have a picture here of their updated policy. So you can see here where face coverings are required and where face coverings are optional. Hold on one second. There is another optional. There it is. Here we go. So upon entering and throughout all attractions, all the theaters, including the theater entrances, transportation, indoor locations, including restaurants, but outdoor common areas and pool decks, face coverings are optional. Which, I mean, even when I went to the pool down in April, I mean, nobody's really wearing a mask around the pool area. It's a little silly.
It's one of those here's your sign moments.
Yeah, please know face coverings are not permitted while experiencing water slides or in the water, which I would think would make sense. That'd be extremely uncomfortable to have a wet mask over your face. Pretty kind of hard to breathe. Doing that, so. Just me personally, I would think that'd be a little bit of a problem. So
yeah, let's go and pop up the Universal just so we can have it real quick. Hang on. Okay, so here's the Universal, basically the same concept. So nothing different than Disney, but there's a Universal one for those that are interested. Okay,
all the same stuff. Jay, I really hope we see fast passes back in some form by the summer. That would be nice. We all miss our fast passes, especially those of us who know how to work the fast pass system and know how to use it and use it to our advantage to turn an ordinary day into an awesome day. When you get out of there, you're like, yeah, we did 25 rides today and we had 17 fast passes. And some families are looking at you and they're like, how did you manage to do that? We rode 6 rides and I had a terrible time. Like,
well, book your vacation with me next time. I will show you.
We'll help you out. Let us know. I got, all the tips, the fast pass tips. So yes, hopefully we get to see that. So that was massive, massive news. I mean, not just for Disney, but I mean, every theme park. And we actually found out that they announced today that New York is going to go back to no masks outdoors starting on Wednesday. So we just in general are getting closer, and this is, great news for, theme park families who love to get out there and want to kind of experience that normal theme park experience wherever you end up going. And it looks like we are going to have it this summer, which is fantastic.
Right. So the reservation system is going through 2023 right now. And I do think this is something that Disney's going to keep for the long run. Just the reason is because for planning purposes in regards to employees, this makes it a lot easier whenever you can say, hey, this park's being hit. They know which parks are going to be popular, but this reemphasizes it. And then I think what they can say is that if you did not make a park reservation, you can't enter the parks till 10 a.m. or something of that nature, let's say, but I think the park reservation thing I think it's a dream that Disney World and Disneyland probably had years ago, because it does make things a little more difficult, and it kind of reduces capacity in a major way by throwing people to other parks for a day or so. So I think
I get it, but I just don't I miss the feeling of just being able to wake up and just go, you know what, let's switch what we're doing right now. I don't want to go to Magic Kingdom. Let's go to Hollywood Studios today.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like the randomness of a vacation. And yes, when you were booking your fast passes, but sometimes it's not that hard to change your fast passes. Even the morning of, you can still get some really good fast passes the morning of and get some good rides. Just the randomness, the fact that you have to you have to really plan your vacation even earlier than that old fast pass 60-day window. You have to be on top of it a lot earlier, because depending on a celebration, an anniversary at the park, a big day going, like a certain day might fly off the shelf before you even have a chance to even sniff it. And, that's the only thing that I miss. I just miss, just kind of being able to randomly change your mind last minute to kind of switch up your vacation. Now you're really regimented now on what you have to do, and you have to kind of stick to it. Because sometimes you make those plans and those park hours are what they are. And then 4 weeks before you go, all of a sudden you're like, oh man, they extended Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom by 2-3 hours. Oh, it'd be great if we could go there. And then it's sold out. Mm-hmm. Where in the past you're like, all right, cool, we're going to switch our fast passes and we're going to go to Magic Kingdom this day instead. So that part of it is I think a negative. I miss, especially, being the type of person that like to do that. I do miss that and will miss that, and wish that there was a little bit more flexibility with this reservation system, because sometimes it's damn near impossible to get anything. So that's my take on the other side of this.
Yeah. So I'll kind of give you a little background on ours. As a family, we usually stay 7 or 8 nights, and we'll always have the final day is usually what we kind of put as a wild card day. So I'll make fast pass reservations for Magic Kingdom, but they're usually not going to stick around. And so usually what happens is somebody wants to go back to Epcot and somebody else wants to go back over to Hollywood Studios. And so that's what we do. And that's where, like, with this reservation system, it would be a pain in the rear, because getting a fast pass, getting a reservation for Hollywood Studios is nearly impossible. The day that I arrived, I arrived at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go and hit the parks because I have some tickets. And decided I tried to get a park reservation starting at 3 o'clock in the morning, and nothing ever opened. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, I can see where that would affect people, because there are certain people who just don't know what's going on. So
Douglas brings up a really good point, and I'm with him on this one. You need some type of perks to return for those staying on resort. No true perks anymore for those staying on site. And yeah, it's true. They've slowly taken away, the early magic hours, the late magic hours. They started to replace those even before all this happened with those paid events, the early morning magic. And, they already had started to phase those out. It's no longer free to park on the resort, on the property, at your hotel. I know that changed a few years back, but I mean, there were just little perks that we would have that would, that you would need to stay on property for. Douglas is right; those are not there, and it just seems like more of those things. The transportation system is going away. Just all these little perks that we would have, and it's just they just keep knocking them off. And look, for those of us who are Disney fanatics, we're going to go to no matter what. But to the average person that maybe only goes once every couple of years, it's cheaper to stay off property, and you're not going to have as many people staying on the resort, except for those diehards that I need to be immersed in that Disney atmosphere from the moment I arrive to the moment that I leave. And I'm one of those people. But I can definitely see the ones who are like, well, we maybe stay a couple extra days if we stay off property, and we might be able to expand our vacation and maybe go to Universal, go somewhere else, which is what you don't want if you're Disney. You want people to stay. You want people to be on your resort, and you want people to stay there. And giving out those little perks is a big part of it. So, I mean, hopefully at some point, maybe once everything gets sorted out and we're 100% back to normal, maybe we see some of these perks come back, or maybe some different perks coming back. What it is, I don't know. But I'm with Douglas on this one. We need some perks back.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a huge thing, because in Disney right now, the resorts are full. I'm putting full in quotations, because they're not going at full capacity. So, right. But the thing is that if you can factor in how much money is, if somebody's not, one, staying at a resort because there's no perks, two, that means they're probably not eating at a resort, three, they're probably not going into the gift shops at the resorts. Those are all three things that are huge. Top that off. So while at Universal, they have a refillable mug that you can purchase every day.
Right.
And everything. So I think I'd talk to you about this week, is that if Disney did something like that for a resort, people that stay at the resorts, I'm not talking about the refillable mug at the resorts. I'm talking about extending it to the parks for an additional $5 a day or something like that. You can fill up your mug at the parks also. Something of that nature. That's something where
it's an excellent call.
Where then you're going to have people who are doing that with popcorn, with their drinks. And yeah, the fact is that you're going to lose some money on the Coca-Cola sales and everything, but I can guarantee you there's some people who aren't going to be the amount of money it costs to buy Disney to buy a soda, especially a fountain soda, is so minimal, it's not even funny. So, but there needs to be perks, because if not, then it's just a place to stay and you're closer to the parks. you know,
See,
and that's
Douglas,
really not a big deal.
Douglas had so much to say here. You actually cut your face off.
Oh man,
You're gone. You know, like kind of pop over the comment here.
I'm just jumping now.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can see it. I know he's blocking you, but we are, you know, and Douglas same way. You know, loves the atmosphere. Fort Wilderness a week ago, Animal Kingdom Lodge for 10 days in November. Just need to show us diehard some love for the support that we give. And yes, that's exactly what we're hoping for. But at the same time, Disney kind of knows they have us hook, line, and sinker, right? Because they know we're coming. If you're a diehard, you know, we take a lot of hits, but we're like, it's Disney. What are we, you know, of course we're going to go. What are we going to do? Not go to Disney? You know, so there's a, you know, Disney it's kind of just like any other business. Like, you know, they're trying to appeal not so much to the diehards, but to those who first timers and ones who don't go that often, because they know that diehard, just like they know the annual passes, those people are always going to be there. They're going to be there because they love to go no matter what happens, no matter what they do. And that's, you know, and we fall into it. And it's easy to say, oh, you know, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go, you know, and stand on your soapbox and just be like, no, this is the last straw. Like, I'm not going. And then like 6 months later, you're like, when we going? When we plan on our next trip? We're going to go this, you know, we're going to go this summer. Because they know they have us. They know they have us.
Yep.
So, but it would be nice to see some. It would be nice though if they threw some perks our way. It would be nice because you will lose, not the diehards, but you're going to lose that middle tier of people at some point. I would think.
Yeah, something's going to happen. It's just them waiting for the right time, I think. So we'll see.
But see, more diehards. So, you know, if you're going to stay, you're going to stay.
There we go. I'm higher now.
And the wife missing the hand washing stations too. I knew she would. And I'm a diehard. Love the resorts. My favorite resorts is Port Orleans, Riverside. Oh, Michelle, stay tuned later for history because Port Orleans is in the history this week.
Yeah, buddy.
One of my favorite resorts. So we have to talk about that a little bit later. So, all right. So yeah, that's anybody else has any questions about the masks or the policies or anything like that, please feel free to let us know. We'll touch base with it. If you have any questions about how the parks are operating right now, always feel free, reach out to us. We have a wealth of knowledge that we would love to be able to help everybody out with. So moving right along.
Let me touch on one thing.
Go for it. Absolutely.
I believe they're increasing capacity, but they haven't announced to what degree. And then with that, I hope they're increasing the capacity at restaurants too, because that would make a huge difference. Because those are the two things where it's kind of bottlenecking a lot of people, a lot of visitors. So especially the restaurants angle. So hopefully that'll be the next announcement. I mean, I don't think they're going to announce, look, we're going to 50% at restaurants, but something needs to happen
soon. I think so. I think we're getting there.
Okay.
Maybe a month. I think things are moving pretty quickly here. And more people. I mean, I'm getting my first shot on Wednesday, so excited about that. So within the next 3 weeks, I'll be fully vaccinated. My wife's fully vaccinated. My oldest just got his first shot. So things are moving along swimmingly. So I don't think we're too far away.
Yeah,
especially with how quick they updated this mask policy. I don't think we're too far away. Yeah,
I mean, I remember when months ago we were talking about 2022 until we were going to be wearing masks through 2021. So this is this is big news.
Huge. All right. So where do you want to? I know we had a couple options. Where did you?
So let's talk. Let's go into. So there's a new experience that kind of came back this week on May 15th. And I know you've been waiting for it, and we talked about it, but the Festival of the Lion King has come back to Disney's Animal Kingdom. So
officially, that was a nice picture you had there.
Yeah. So it has changed a little bit, but it's a good, it's a new thing. So
we'll be socially distanced, and so the People Mover finally came back. Festival of the Lion King. So we're getting there. More experience opening up. When I was down there, I noticed that there were, a bit more crowds being let into some of these shows. More rides are starting to get filled in for every row. Actually, I just saw this past week, Tower of Terror is now loading every single row. So, when you hear things like that, like it helps with the wait times. It helps move the crowd around. People aren't standing in these ridiculously long lines. wrapped around all over the place. You know, they're in some backstage area. Like, it's just, to me, like, when you have to stand back there, like, that's not really being Disney. You know, you're standing like some back parking lot or some back pathway somewhere, and you're like, what am I even doing back here? So now that they were filling in all the rows, the distancing markers are going down, like, it's going to start feeling more and more like a normal queue, a normal ride experience when you're bouncing around. So that is, I mean, I experienced that in March and in April, especially at Hollywood Studios. And, you know, the line would say 45 minutes and it would look like you're 2-3 hours. But it wasn't, but it would just, the feeling of it. And then you're baking out in the sun, because a lot of these places on these lines, on these queues, aren't meant for people to be standing on line. So you're just baking like some scrambled eggs out there.
Yeah.
So, but this will be good, you know, and just start moving the line. Queues will be shorter. Which is, you know, especially with no fast passes, like, that's what we want to see. So
yeah, there was parts of Pirates of the Caribbean that I had never seen before, and I was like, man, they really knocked that place out.
I was for Dinosaur. There's a off to the right of the entrance. There is like a massive queue that like bobs and weaves like through a little forest. I had been going on this ride since 1999. I had never seen that part of the queue. I didn't even know it was there.
Yep.
Until we were there in April. And it was like, blew my mind. I'm like, I was just so used to always, you go right in and you go right into the building. That was it. That was the line. You go right into the building, you hook the left, and that's where you start. That's where the line would always start.
So if you had seen a line like that, let's just hypothetically say we're in pre-COVID. If you had seen a line like that, what would you have done? Be like,
see you later. I'm good.
I'll fast pass that later.
It's not Splash Mountain. It's not Tower of Terror. I'll be good. Or I'll grab a fast pass for it. Exactly. Like, I'm not waiting on that line. No way.
Yeah. So
not a chance.
Also, Universal had already put all their 3-foot markers and all their signage in, and Disney was doing the same thing. So they're being very proactive about this and making sure, because I know that there's people who want that sort of stuff, and that ease of feeling, I think, is the best way to put it. So.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
But Festival of Lion King is back, so it's a good one.
Hey, okay, so Sarah, so she hates Dinosaur, but how old is she? That makes a big difference. It all depends. When my son wrote it, when I tortured him at 4 and 5, he hated it. We went back there, and he's now 7, almost 8, and we got there in the morning, and there was no line, and we wrote it 3 times in a row. They asked us if we wanted to keep going, and we kept going. And all of a sudden, he loved it now. Sarah's saying she's 10. Okay, so maybe she just hates it. I was thinking maybe she was a little bit on the younger side, and then you experience it when you're younger. Maybe it's a little scary because it was really scary for him. And then as you get a little bit older, it becomes less scary and a little bit more fun. So, okay, so maybe Dinosaur is just not the ride at 10. Maybe that's it. But you know what? Maybe when she's 13 or 14, maybe she'll turn the corner on you here a little bit. So.
It's definitely one of my favorite picture options available.
Oh, that's a great one. If you know where I love when you've been there enough and you know where the photo's taken and you can get a good pose down, you're right. That one, Tower of Terror, is another great one. Even with the small video clips, you can kind of choreograph some stuff. Like, that makes it so much more fun. Dinosaur is a good one.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, you know, there's people. Like we've talked about in the past. I'm one of the worst probably on taking pictures, bad pictures. I'm probably ruining it for so many people. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Did you share some? Did you share some with the show? Did we say we were going to do that?
Yeah,
we got to do that. Like our top 5, like on ride photo pics, and we can actually have some of the Mapping the Magic audience send us if they want. They want to share some of their favorite on-ride fast pass photos. Please send it to mappingthemagicshow@gmail.com, and maybe next week we'll do it.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll see if I can find
corral them together, and we'll see if we can find some. I got to go through the archives. I know I got some good ones, so that'll.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm hated by a handful of people.
Blocking people with the hands, doing other stuff, just
it's the hands,
photos
it's the
for everybody.
poses. And if you saw, I mean, I'm just on Splash Mountain. I look like I'm just chilling and relaxing in the back row. taking a nap. So, because I know, you already know when it's coming. You're just like,
of course.
So
Anyway. Those are always good ones where you can throw in some choreography. Those are always fun. Lots of fun. How many times are you going to go like this on a photo? Like, after a while, like you want some variety after a while, do a little something different. That's like when you're in front of the castle and they snap like 8 pictures of you. Like I start doing different poses. I'm like hey, and I'm like, guys, do something different. Like I don't want 8 pictures of us just going like, what am I going to do with the other 7? I can't do anything with the other 7. Or I get the one portrait and the one landscape, and then that's it. Like we need some variety, guys. You got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Trust me.
Tower of Terror in the Disney Parks dress shop, based on the. Oh yeah, Tower of Terror's got a great ride, great experience, great on ride photo, and their gift shop at the end is pretty awesome.
Yeah, buddy. My daughter's a huge Tower of Terror fan. She's
the best.
So she's a unique one.
There is nothing better about Tower of Terror, but then also when you get the right group of people with you, and if like they're all into it and they're screaming and chanting and clapping, those are some of the best rides. Because you're in a confined space and you're a lot tighter. You can actually communicate and talk and joke around with the other guests, and sometimes you can get some awesome. The experience of the rides enhanced by just the people around you. It's one of those few attractions that allows that to happen. I think it's awesome. And it's so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, so let's see. I guess the next thing we can hit on is just briefly is the Disney Wish. What's going on with that? Do you have?
Didn't we do that last week?
Well,
am I crazy?
So here's the Disney Wish, and starting today, Platinum Castaway Club members with 25 plus sailings completed can start booking. So for, it keeps on going down to 20 to 15. But if you have never taken a cruise, it's open to all guests, basically starting on May 27th, 2021 for the inaugural season. So if you're interested in that, May 27th is your date.
Beautiful. I got to get on the cruise game. I was speaking to more Disney buddies of mine this weekend, and they just kept talking like, "Oh yeah, we did a cruise," and I got to get on it.
So the big thing about Galveston, Texas, which is right down the road from me, is going to be the first port that's open for cruises in the United States. So
lucky, look at you, You'll be first in line.
No.
Okay. You could be though if you wanted to. That's nice to be able to have that in the back of your mind. Like, well, if we wanted to, we could have it. It's
absolutely. There. Yeah. I'm just, I like, I've gone on a couple cruises, and I'll just wait. I'm waiting for a Disney cruise, to be honest with you, because that's really what I want to do next.
I'm with you.
So, and then let's see what else we had. Oh, so tomorrow, if for those, I know we're bringing up Universal a lot, but I think we're going to try to bring it a little more in June. But Lowe's Sapphire Falls right here is going to be reopening tomorrow. So for those interested in the Universal, that's a beautiful resort.
Did you take that picture yourself? Because it's a beautiful picture.
No, I found it on the internet somewhere. I think it's from Lowe's. It's from the Lowe's Hotels website.
A gorgeous picture. That looks amazing.
Yeah. So that'll be open.
So much nicer than our faces.
The key. Maybe I should just use that as my green screen eventually. Well, yes, I'm at Lowe's Sapphire Falls again today.
That's great.
But it's a great. The thing that you don't realize about Universal resorts, and this is something I didn't realize, is like how nice and up to date they are on a lot of things. The dockside and seaside are 2 new resorts, and they're basically like the equivalent of a value resort at Disney World, but they are nice, and the rooms are beautiful. And so just give it a check. That's what I'd say.
Mapping the magic. See, we're mapping the magic. We're not just Disney.
Exactly.
We're all encompassing down there. So 100%.
And the thing is like, if you're already down there, I mean, if you've got a few extra days or a vacation that you need to plan out, it's definitely worth something trying if you've got the funds for it, because you've already paid the airfare or whatever. So it's worth, hey, stay an extra 2 nights or so, and then you can really knock out some stuff and become a Universal fan too, probably. Because I know we're speaking to a lot of Disney fans, but there's a lot to offer.
Hey, man, I love Disney too, but I've had some wonderful experiences at Universal over the years. I think I've never stayed at a Universal resort, but obviously I've been to both parks, and I've had great experiences going there, and their rides are really, really good. So, and I really good to excellent, in a lot of cases. So absolutely. I think, a Universal resort stay and a cruise stay and a Disneyland trip, like this is all on the bucket list. They'll get crossed off for me for sure.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. You got any more news?
I do have. We know on this show we do like to touch on some food when we can. We go back to Gideon's a lot when we get the cookie of the month. But this one, I had to get your take on this and maybe some others, because this thing just looked like a heart attack on a plate when I saw it. And actually, I didn't even see it first. I read about it and was like, oh my God, no, I could never. So International Burger Day is on May 28th. So next Friday. So I'm going to butcher this name. Vivoli Il Gelato. I think I got that right. Right?
Vivoli Il Gelato.
Yes. Okay. You had a nicer tone to it than I did, but yes, I think I said it right. They have created their new Burger Lotto ahead of International Burger Day. This includes, listen to this, a truffle brownie, cake batter gelato, strawberry sauce, and bacon, all wrapped inside a massive Italian donut. And if those of you are wondering what on earth that actually looks like, I have a picture of it. And this is what it looks like. And I'm not so much looking at the front picture. I'm looking at that burger in the back. Look at that thing.
That thing, it looks pretty good. So
it looks good, but my God, like what is that, 4,000 calories?
Oh, probably so.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the strawberry glaze. And
oh my God.
Brownies. I've never had a Italian donut, so I'm not quite sure how that. I'm assuming it's kind of like a sweetbread,
Yeah, I would think so. Similar. I mean, I'm a big fan of bacon. I'm not a huge brownie guy, but I could do a brownie, wrapped in something that I really like. But yeah, man, this is a monster.
Yeah, so
it's a monster sandwich.
Yeah, that'll be definitely very interesting. Probably something I'd split. I'm not. The worst part about my trip this past weekend was like, I didn't have it in me for desserts. I don't know. I mean, so
weren't feeling it. It's because the family wasn't around. You weren't feeling like, oh, all right, we're on vacation now. I'm just gonna, pig out here a little bit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I ate some, some great food. Don't get me wrong, but I was just dessert. Just didn't feel it. Yeah. So that thing looks pretty good, and anything with the brownie is always good to me.
But Karen brings up a good point. Like brownies and strawberries and bacon. Like, does that really go together?
It's how it hits your palate. I'm pretty confident. This is the thing that they're doing a lot of nowadays is they're mixing, because what you're getting is a sweet, and then you're getting that bacon,
right?
And then when you mix it with that cookie dough, it's flavor. It's a flavor explosion,
right?
And so that's probably what it is. I do have to tell you something. So I was in the airport when we were arriving back, and so all these people were coming home from Orlando, and there was a guy with a bag, a Gideon's bag, and I was like, "Hey, what you got in there?
What you got?"
And he grabbed his luggage. He got his luggage before me, so I couldn't chase him out of the parking lot and see what's going on.
And he was like, "Cookie of the month."
Well, I was like, "Hey, what what you got in that?" And is that Gideon's? And he was like, "Yeah." But he couldn't recall what he got. I think his wife got it. But I
think he didn't want to tell you because he was afraid you were going to try to run off with it and knock him out and steal his cookies.
Well, yeah, 9:30 at night,
Oh man, people are very protective of those cookies, man. Especially at the airport, you got some good sweets. You don't want to be losing them or giving them up.
No, I think it would have been pretty funny. But if I had seen him prior to the flight, because I was flying on Southwest, I'd been like, I'm a window seat kind of guy, but I could have been like, hey, if you got the window seat, I guess I can sit in the aisle and we can have a talk for 2 hours, and then you just give in and give me a cookie.
Now, what if you guys ended up sitting next to each other on the flight and he broke the cookie out in the middle of the flight? Would you have the balls to be like, dude, that's Gideon's?
I think
you mind? Can I get a piece of that?
I'm probably ripping off his mask and saying, flight attendant, this guy is not wearing a mask, and we need to get him taken care of.
And just kind of slide that cookie over, slide it over to your tray.
I would
when I was there when I was there last month and we were eating dinner at Raglan Road, my mom, who, she doesn't, she likes going to Disney, but she's not like in the know what's going on. And she sees the Gideon line. She goes, what is that line? And I'm like, that's for Gideon. She goes, what are they waiting for? I'm like, cookies. And she couldn't believe it. She goes, cookies? And she's like, how long? I said, this line goes all day and it's hours and it's a virtual queue. And then after people wait hours on the virtual, they go on the line and then they wait even longer just for a cookie because the cookies are that damn good.
She's probably thinking, I'm not trying to, but people that grew up, before us were like, the Keebler elf was good enough.
The simpler times in life.
Yeah. Exactly.
My day when we didn't have electricity or running water and had to walk 5 miles to school barefoot in the snow. You hear all these legendary myths, of how our parents never caught frostbite and, somehow survived despite like the ridiculously harsh times that they lived in. It's like, yeah, okay. All right.
I was out of power for 48 hours in February. That was me. But
I remember, you couldn't do the show.
Yeah,
that was really fun. I remember that. I got your, and I guess you had sent the text out at like 9 a.m.
Yes. Yeah.
But I didn't get it till like 6 p.m. And I'm like, and I was a little annoyed. I was like, how does this guy not have power all day and tell me at 6 o'clock? We got 3 hours to the show, and he's like, yeah, by the way, not going to happen. I was like, what is he waiting for? And then when you finally got power, like, yeah, did you get my text? I sent it at like 9 a.m. I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, so basically,
oh my God, that was funny though.
For those novices that have not experienced power outages like we have, whenever the power goes out, the cell phone towers they go out, but the cell phone towers are supposed to be powered by a generator, which they were not at this time, because I had a nice little conversation with my cell phone provider that, in times of emergency, I need to utilize my cell phone, and I couldn't. And so I got a nice little, courtesy. So we'll see.
Michelle brought up a nice little thing to tie in that whole, in my day, uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways.
That's it. That's the good one. That's the kicker. That's the line right there. Nice job, Michelle. Uphill both ways.
Back when I had to use paper tickets. I didn't have one of those fancy magic bands.
Right. And a key to open up our door. Imagine.
You had to hold on to your key the whole time. And
can you imagine that now?
And check this out. My parents paid with traveler's checks.
And oh my God.
Chris Coco's income. And used AAA for our
AAA's, I don't have AAA, but AAA's still all right. You get some decent discounts with AAA.
She's gonna kill me. Because AAA would give you like the directions you should go through, like if you were driving to somewhere. And my parents did the same thing. So, anyways.
Disney dollars. That's right. The old good. We talked about the Disney dollars last week. They had phased them, right? It was last week, the anniversary when they had phased them out. That's right. Kelly, we talked about that last week. Last week was the unfortunate demise of the Disney dollars way back in the day. So there goes our burger lotto and our food. We should come up with a name for this. Like the food corner or something. I'm open to suggestions. Like, because we somehow always, food gets into the show and it just randomly gets in. We should have like this segmented out into like,
Feed me fanatics.
Well, yeah, there's always some good bites going on. We had the hot dog last week with the reopening, with like the hot dog salad and the hot dog, everything. The whole menu is hot dogs. Food always makes its way in. We gotta think of a name for that.
I think we're gonna have like a dining with dudes segment or something.
Dining with the dudes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my Twitter. My Twitter handle is Dudes of Disney, so it
Okay.
kind of it works. It works.
Okay.
The dude abides, man.
Oh man.
All
Which
right.
the Cabana Bay their bowling alley is after the Big Lebowski. It's made after it.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
See,
a great.
you find out these things on
great
resort
movie.
tours.
That's fantastic. All right, I gotta hit it up now. That's great. I love that movie. So, all right. So I think we're up. What do we got? We got history. We got history now.
Yeah, let's go and
Yeah, we
run in
covered
some
all of
history,
our
I
news.
guess.
So we got this week in Disney history.
All right. So 1990, what is that? 31 years
31.
ago. Man, where did time go?
In 1990, I was 6 years old.
I wasn't born yet.
First grade. No, you weren't born yet? No.
I'm
WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
So
Mets, one of the last good years the Mets were good before the 90 nosedive. So
yeah, I remember the Astros Mets 86. We won't talk about that.
we can. We another show.
That'll be a long segment. It'll go into extra innings.
Be.
Mike Scott. Anyways. So here we go. So May 16, 1990. I try not to bring up deaths, but this is it was a big one. Jim Henson passed away from pneumonia. And so the reason I'm bringing this up, because on May 16th, 1990, he passed away. Here's the thing. So
wasn't he misdiagnosed?
Yes, he was misdiagnosed.
Right? Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And he was misdiagnosed earlier in the week and had been put on antibiotics only 8 hours earlier. So he would have probably lived had that not happened. But
an absolute genius.
Mm-hmm. So
he gave us so many great. I mean, even things like everybody thinks the Muppets right off the bat, and of course we should, and Kermit and everything. But I mean, even shows like Fraggle Rock. Like I don't know if that might be a little bit before your time, Chris. No, we're the same age.
No, I'm older.
No, how old are you?
Older.
Oh, you don't want everybody to know?
Oh, I'm in the 70s.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Dude, I thought we were. I mean, I'm 36. I thought we were around the same age.
No, I'm a few years older than that.
A few years older? Okay,
Yeah.
So then Fraggle Rock.
Yes.
Like Fraggle Rock was an awesome show. I mean, he produced so many great specials, so many great things, and he was actually right. I believe at the time of his death, he was trying to get the Muppets into the Disney parks, right? If I'm not mistaken. What happened?
So Coco sent me I'm watching you, Wazowski, always watching
That's
text.
it. Roz. Do we have to change her name? Do we have to change her nickname now?
Yeah. The thing is
Coco Roz.
The thing is, my best material is from observing any comedians like that. So
Michelle remembers Fraggle Rock. Down to Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock. Good show. Sorry, a little sidebar there, but Jim Henson's the man. I mean, as far as legends go, he's up there.
Right.
So many great characters and so many great moments. So I'm sorry, I'll let you continue. But sometimes on the history, I feel like we go too quick, and I feel like sometimes like there's always like conversations that we can have, and Jim Henson I think is definitely a good one to stop down on because. Just so many wonderful. We all have great memories of the Muppet Show growing up and watching the Muppet Babies and watching Fraggle Rock and, having them as part of the Disney universe. And we've all grown up with it. It's fantastic. So I love Jim Henson.
Right. So he was completing negotiations with the Disney company to include his Muppets at their theme parks at the time of his death on May 16th, 1990. So fast forward 1 year to the day, May 16th, 1991, Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D opens at Disney MGM Studios. So the attraction is housed in a 500-plus seat multimedia 3D theater located in a further expansion of the back lot annex area. So I love going to this, and I love going to this on a hot day because I watch it, but it just does it's a good show, but it gives me a little rest break sometimes. And if it's waiting 15 minutes before the show starts, I get a little shut eye. So anyways, there we go
So
with that.
I'm with you. This is one of my must-do shows on every trip. This show is 30 years old and it's still funny. It's still, a lot of fun. I love the Swedish Chef. I love the old guys up in the balcony. Beaker. I mean, there's so many funny parts of that show. I even love the pre-show when Rizzo comes out as Mickey Mouse and Sam Eagle. Man, I mean, I'm glad. I also love the great moments in Muppet history when they had Sam Eagle there at Magic Kingdom on Liberty Square. But I've seen the show 100 times, and whenever Kermit asks Sam Eagle, Sam, is a finale ready? He's like, it's a glorious 3-hour presentation. He's like, you got a minute and a half, and it's like it always makes me smile. It always makes me laugh. It's a salute to all nations, but mostly America. Like, Sam Eagle is a very underrated Muppet character, and it's so deadpan serious and just so funny. But yeah, it's a great show. I know, it's in a tough spot in the park because it's kind of wedged right in between all the Star Wars stuff. And I really hope they don't get rid of it. And it needs to stay there. I think having Pizza Rizzo there helps. But they really Mama Melrose, sorry.
Oh no, Pizza. Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, it's messing me up.
It's there.
That whole area has gotten really just contracted over the years. But I really hope this show, they never get rid of it. It's a classic, and it's a Jim Henson special. It has, and the Muppets are great. And I love the fact that they're tied in with the Disney parks, and it needs to stay. It's a great show. Yeah, it's really amazing that it's a year apart from each other.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident they really fast track that one. But yeah, don't ever forget about. I never forget about Mama Melrose because that's my place at Hollywood Studios. But it's the thing is, it's kind of like in a dead end of the park.
Yeah, it's in a tough part. It's in a tough place in the park.
That's the one thing about Hollywood Studios is I think they need to reconfigure like walking routes. I feel like you do a lot of dead ends and turn around kind of thing. There's
not a whole lot of give there.
So anyways, so May 16th, 2009, Dixar's newest animated feature, Up, had its world premiere at El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. It's a very popular one amongst Disney fans.
Probably the saddest 4 or 5 minutes to open a Disney movie. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, tells a great story, and she's dead. And you're like, oh my God, that's really, really sad. Excellent movie. One of my, it's up there. Whenever you talk about, great Disney movies, great Pixar movie, it's up there. It's a fantastic movie. 2 thumbs up, big time.
Yeah, I think it's a little underappreciated, but that's just in regards to the Pixar.
How cool would that be in the theme park? Like the house with the balloons, that would be really cool if they found a way to implement that movie into the theme parks.
With Soarin'.
There you go.
I don't know.
It makes sense from a ride perspective. Absolutely.
Yeah. So next one we have is, this is where Disney could have really knocked it out of the park today. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Because they could have said this resort was reopening, okay? May 17th, 1991, 30 years ago, Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter, a recreation of the streets and row houses of New Orleans French Quarter, opens. So with 432 rooms in 3 buildings. And then also opening was the Sassagoula Floatworks and the Food Factory Court, Jackson Square Gifts, Desiree's Shop, and Bonne Famille's Cafe Restaurant. So, and then I just really think that Disney could have been like, hey, with the increased capacity, we're going to go ahead and be opening up Port Orleans French Quarter at July 1st or something of that nature. That gives you 45 days, basically. Could have knocked it out of the park today with that.
Could have killed it today with this one. This resort is my favorite resort to stay at. My wife and I honeymoon there. We've an anniversary trip there. I love this resort. I love the fact that it's smaller. I love the fact that there are more adults there. I love the atmosphere. I love the music. Just the entire experience being there. The food is fantastic. I love the fact that you can take the boats over to Disney Springs. It's something different. You're not hopping on a bus or driving. It's a great little touch. It's got a great pool. You're walking distance away from Riverside, which obviously is much bigger. And if you want to sample their food, you got the carriage ride, the horse and carriage rides there. Just they hit a home run with this resort. I miss it. I can't wait for it to open again so I could be there. You're right. They could have really knocked it out of the park today on a nice little anniversary day. Hopefully this opens soon, but I can't say enough good things about the French Quarter and how much I love this resort.
I think you pretty much nailed it on that one. Yeah. I mean, Port Orleans French Quarter, it's both of us. We love it. And I can't say anything bad about it. It's the easiest to get on and off. I mean, the only thing it doesn't have is a Skyliner or a monorail, which I'm fine with. It would be very difficult for it to have one anyways. But
because it's such a small resort, though, like
you don't need it.
The buses aren't, there's not long waits for the bus, and they're able to house them in two small little sections. And you're not waiting in these value resort, these chain link lines. Like you don't feel like you're waiting in a line. You just kind of feel like you're hanging out and you're just waiting for the bus to show up, because the resort's not so big.
Yeah.
Which is another huge perk, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, it's a hidden gem, but it's not really hidden. The people that have been there know, hey, this is the place to stay, especially if for the price point, I don't think I've ever seen a resort discount for it, but it's well worth it. So when it does open, the only thing I ask for you guys is let me book it first, and then you can contact me.
So Kelly asked the question. I'm not sure because I don't have a dog. I know you do because I heard him in the background earlier. Is French Quarter a resort that you can have a dog at?
We'll have to check on that. I'll have to check on and see which one you can.
That I'm not 100% sure about.
I do know at Lowe's resorts you can have a dog. They are very into that. So we'll see. But we'll get back to you.
I never wait more than 5 minutes for. And Michelle makes a good point too. Never wait that long for a bus either.
Right, and it's one stop. It's not like what do you have? 5 stops at Riverside, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it is a massive resort, Riverside.
Right. I wish they would pop. If Disney wants to do something right, make more resorts the size of Port Orleans French Quarter and plop them around different spots, and then you have great theming with movies and everything. I guarantee you that would be a great way to go.
Good call.
Anyways, okay, so this one, it kind of deals with dinosaur, and so the Field Museum in Chicago unveils Sue, the largest, most complete, and best preserved Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil yet discovered. A replica of Sue stands in Disney's Animal Kingdom. So you can visit Sue on your travels to the Dino Institute in Dino Land, USA. So the dinosaur is named after Sue Henderson, who is an American paleontologist. So they discovered that back in 1990. So I got a little picture of Sue right here at the Animal Kingdom. So there you go.
Very cool.
And let's
see.
Little
history nugget there.
I just got a message from somebody. If you want to check it.
Yep, Coco always looking.
Oh yes. Okay, so here are the pet-friendly hotels.
There we go.
Art of Animation, Port Orleans Riverside, the Yacht Club, Disney's Yacht Club, and the cabins at Fort Wilderness Resort. So those are the 4. So Port Orleans French Quarter is not pet-friendly, but Port Orleans Riverside is. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Coco with the backup. Very nice.
Thank you. It's a little hard sometimes when we're on the when you're on the spot. Okay, May 17th, 2004, Phase 1 of Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa welcomes its first guest. So there's the Phase 1 featured 4 villa buildings in a section called Congress Park, which opened up 184 vacation home units. So have you stayed at Saratoga Springs?
I have not. I stayed at Caribbean Beach last year. I've not stayed at Saratoga.
Okay, so I've stayed at Saratoga. It's a nice resort. The best part about it, the best feature in my opinion, is the ability to take a 5, maybe 10-minute walk over to Disney Springs. That really knocks it out of the park. And for if you're going on an adult vacation, perfect spot, because you don't have to wait in line for a bus back, and two, if you're driving, you don't have to drive. And when you're having adult beverages, that might be a good thing for So,
well, you're not having adult beverages.
No, not at all. I had a butter beer, but that's not
Okay, what do you think?
Butterscotch. Anyways, I forgot to mention this one. May 18th, 2003, Disney's Pixar's Finding Nemo premiered. So the reason we're hitting these is
another very sad opening to a movie.
Yeah, but you're getting into that summer when they open Memorial Day movies for the summer thing. So,
see, I don't have pets, so I didn't know this. Did you know that if you bring your pets, their name is included on the reservation? That's pretty cool.
I didn't know that. I'll tell you one thing. I've got a huge standard poodle, and if he's coming to the resort with me, that's going to be pretty interesting.
I mean, we have a frog, but I don't know if we can take the frog on vacation with us. Usually he just hangs out back at the house.
I think if people saw a frog at the resort, they would croak.
Oh, we could do better.
Oh gosh. Can I go and tell you the joke that they kept on running on the boats? So they said, what happens whenever you get stuck between a boat and the dock? When a person gets stuck in between a boat and a dock, they experience peer pressure.
Oh, Jesus. That is a Jungle Cruise joke if I've ever heard one.
Anyways.
It's funny the first time you hear it, but then like the 18th time you hear it, you're like, oh, God, guy, like, come on.
Yeah.
A little better than this.
All right. So I have to give this birthday because he's the coolest guy. And, he probably had the coolest job in the world for quite a while. So May 19th, 1944, actor Peter Mayhew, best known for portraying Chewbacca in Star Wars, is born in Barnes, Surrey, England. So for those that don't know, sorry.
Oh, I know. We both did. Exact time.
So there he is. The black around his eyes is not because of him losing sleep. That's a makeup. So, but
that's a great picture.
Yeah, I think that would be the coolest job. I mean,
to get to play Chewie.
Oh yeah, even playing Chewie. Like, if I were taller, I mean, I guess I could be like a mini Chewie.
Wish I was
at the parks.
Wish I was a little bit taller. So I was saying.
Thanks,
you gave me an opportunity there.
At least I got that one right.
At least you got the band name. You got the name right this time, pal. I give it to you. Good job. A little bit of redemption there.
Yeah. So, anyways, he was born May 19th, 1944. All right. May 19th, 2000, plans for Disney's newest attraction, Mission Space, are launched into space aboard Atlantis. How cool is that? May 19th, 2000. So the ride opens in 2003 and 2004.
Right. Good ride, depending on what, your taste of weightless feeling.
Motion sickness.
Motion sickness and the nauseousness. It could be a lot of fun or a disaster. So depending on which way you swing there.
All right. Next one, May 20th, 1973, Disney World's Tom Sawyer Island, the Tom Sawyer rafts, the Plaza Swan boats, and the Richard F. Irvine, Walt Disney World's second Liberty Square riverboat, all open at Magic Kingdom in Florida. So, have you ever been over to Tom Sawyer Island?
I have. I mean, sometimes it's fun with the kids. You do it once. I think it's one of those things you can do it once. They have, little caves and the fort, and they have, kids just kind of run around for a little bit. It's definitely a good spot if you want to people watch. They got the rocking chairs out there right on the water. If you want a little bit of a break from just the hustle and bustle and the madness, sometimes you take the rafts over there. It's okay. The little bridges that they have with, as some of the little activities you can do. So, it's okay. It's fun to do once. It's not something that I have to do on every single trip. But if the place was ridiculously crowded and I needed a little getaway for an hour and I just needed to chill and relax, it'd be a good spot to go to.
Yeah. All right. I got a few more. So May 20th, 2020, just 1 year ago, Walt Disney World allows some third-party shops and restaurants to open at Disney Springs. So this was right whenever Disney started flipping the switch to starting to opening things. So thought that was kind of cool. And we're hitting on that 1-year anniversary. May 21st, 1928, Walt Disney's trademark application for Mickey Mouse is filed with the U.S. Patent Office. So that's cool. I thought this one was neat. And if you really think about it, this is where Walt Disney is a genius. If you really start thinking, because in our area, in our time, social media is Facebook, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. But back then, May 22nd, 1955, ABC camera crews began rehearsing every Sunday at Disneyland's for the park's July 17th grand debut. So they were already, I mean, that's weeks in advance. And so
you brought in for this? Wow, look at that
yeah,
camera.
That's a fan.
Old school, man. Look at that camera. It's unbelievable.
So what happened was there was a live broadcast from a crowded theme park. So it wasn't a common event. And so there needed a lot of preparation for it. So, but that just shows you how, I guarantee you don't have those TV cameras there. And Disneyland is probably, it's going to be popular, but it's not going to be as popular. You know?
Have you seen footage from that open?
Yes. Yeah.
That production, I mean, I got to hand it to them. Like, that is not an easy task. And, you know, I work in the television industry, and in 1955, to produce a live telecast from Disneyland, from a theme park of that size, and having that many cameras and that many people with so much on the line, obviously there were going to be issues, and there clearly were. It is definitely not the smoothest telecast you'll ever watch. There are issues with it all over the place, but the fact that they were able to somehow piecemeal that together that is an unbelievable accomplishment for television. I think back in those times, it's not something that you saw, you know, very often. You know, even, you know, you wouldn't have that many cameras for, not even like the Olympics had that many cameras, you know, back then, if they were going to do the Olympics or baseball, like, you know, you were very, very, you know, you had a handful of cameras and that was it. And they were simulcasting throughout the entire park, throughout the entire day. Like, that was pretty impressive. Even though you look back at it and you're like, oh boy, this one had it, you know, that's a producer's nightmare there. Probably a lot of yelling and screaming going on behind the scenes, and cameras and cueing talent. I'm sure it was a mess, but the fact that they were able to pull that off the way that they were, that's massive accomplishment. And you're right. I mean, that brought Disneyland to the world. You know, it brought, well, not the world, at least to the United States.
But that, want to go, yeah.
You look at it, you're like, we got to be there. Like, I have to be there. Look at this place. We have to go. And all of his specials that he had run before that, you know, really detailing the parks and, I mean, all that stuff. Like, I mean, just so ahead of his time, so smart, the way that they marketed that park and how they went about exposing the, you know, the country to it was genius. And obviously it worked. Yeah.
So I work basketball games and do all that sort of stuff. And our script, you know, for a basketball game is a decent one. I can only imagine the script for that back then.
Oh my God. And remember, we're not talking about like computers where you can have your rundowns, you know, on a computer and print out shot sheets. So that way, you know, everything is written on massive cards and probably paperwork all over the place. I mean, just the organizational skills that it would have taken to pull that off is on another level. Then, you know, things are so much easier and streamlined now. No cell phones. You know, if you needed to talk to someone, what do? You have to send runners. Like, oh man, we're having some issues in Tomorrowland. We can't go. You know, you're sending guys all over the park. There are probably people running all over the place, coordinating and getting, you know, through this production. So I can only imagine the party that went down after this was all said and done. The after party must have been truly epic to celebrate this production. I'm telling you, it must have been one hell of a party.
Yeah. All right. I got two more for us. Okay. I just bring this one up because May 22nd, 1992, Disney's Hollywood Pictures releases Encino Man, a comedy directed by Les Mayfield and starring Brendan Fraser, Sean Astin, and Pauly Shore. So,
as a kid, I thought this movie was really funny. I enjoyed this when I was 10 years old. Like, this movie was awesome. I mean, you got Rudy, you know, you got Pauly Shore, you know, you got Rudy, and Brendan, a very young Brendan Fraser. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I have not watched that movie in maybe 15 or 20 years, but I'm sure if I watched it, I'd still find parts that were entertaining.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all right, you know.
I love
Finding
it.
a caveman in your backyard, trying to dig a pool
Dig a
out just to
pool.
be the cool kid, you know. Sean asked, I mean, just fresh off of Rudy, right before
Oh,
Lord of the
man.
Rings, you know. So yeah,
All right.
good stuff.
Final one I have is Disneyland on May 22nd, 1998. Disneyland officially unveils its newly renovated Tomorrowland, which includes new additions, rocket rods, a high-speed attraction running on the former People Mover track, Red Rocket's Pizza Port, which was a restaurant, the NASA Space Experience, and the short Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. Also reopening was the Astro Orbiter and the Space Mountain, which this is the big thing. Let me go and put up a picture of this because this was a huge thing back then. Space Mountain. This was the color of Space Mountain for basic, I think, till 2003. It was this brown, reddish gold, and people hated it.
It looks
like
hideous.
I mean, it's white.
Yeah.
So they went back to it, the normal, but
Oof.
that we can talk about the 25th anniversary cake.
There it is.
But
that's bad. Nothing's ever going to top this, dude. This is the worst of the worst.
Yeah, but the Space Mountain.
But that's an
draw great reviews.
That's an ugly eyesore if I've ever seen one. Well, we just showed it.
So that's all I got for news. Basically, a lot of the enhancements in 1998 were they washed their hands of it and redid them in 2003. I found out.
Yeah, the rocket rods were kind of a bust there.
Yeah,
really
they were trying to go with it.
Well.
Yeah, they were trying to go with a theming color, and it just didn't really work. It seemed, and I think nowadays they use a lot more of the investing in what people think instead of possibly what they think. So, anyways, that's all I got for today.
Well, that pretty much does it because we're well over our hour.
Oops.
I hope our sponsors aren't going to be yelling at us. I hope Streaming the Magic didn't have anything on after us. I don't think they did, so I think we're okay. But thank you everybody once again for commenting and joining in and watching and listening and following along. We really appreciate it. So we will be back with you next Monday. Hopefully some more big news comes out this week. We shall see. And Chris, I hope you have a good week, man. Pleasure being with you as always. Glad that I'm feeling better. Glad you got back safe and had a good trip. So until next time, Mapping the Magic, sponsored by On the Road Travel. We'll catch you guys next Monday night.
All right. See y'all. Have a good week.